You're about to know how all the LMGs stack up against each other and all their unique stats because you clicked on a Modern Warfare 2 Worst to Best, a series where I rank all guns within a weapon class after I unlock Platinum Camo and have a considerable amount of experience with each weapon. One thing I want to mention up top is that all the LMGs in Modern Warfare 2 are quite powerful. They all take very few shots to kill and are some of the fastest killing full auto weapons in the game. So a lot of their viability comes down to the handling stats and the available attachments. Because of that, I anticipate this will be a weapon class where there'll be a lot of varying opinions. I could be wrong, but I'm excited to see what everyone thinks. There's one weapon we should all agree on. One of these LMGs is not up to par with the others. That LMG is the RAPP H, coming in at the number 6 spot. The stats for this weapon are noticeably worse than the rest. It has the slowest time to kill in class at 225 milliseconds, which isn't terrible in the grand scheme of things when you're thinking about assault rifle and SMGs. But for LMGs, it's the slowest. Its recoil is fairly bouncy, so it's harder to use the further out your target is, as the second slowest aim down sight speed in class, and worst of all, you're stuck with slow LMG reload speeds. This is a brand new issue with the removal of reload canceling in Modern Warfare 2. When you commit to a reload with an LMG, there's a little chance that you'll have time to actually cancel it, and then you're going to be a sitting duck for about 8 to 10 seconds. I can't tell you how many times I've been caught reloading with LMGs in general in this game. It's really annoying, which is why I've been leaning towards using smaller magazines on my LMG so I can avoid those situations by making them faster. Unfortunately, the RAPP is one of 2 light machine guns that do not have a smaller magazine option, so that's just another strike against it. The only appeal I see with the RAPP is if you struggle with accuracy. Its faster fire rate makes it more forgiving to land 4 or 5 shots to get your kill, but other than that, you're going to be better off with one of the other LMGs in your hands. Second worst at number 5, I have the SAKIN MG38. Assume everything about this weapon is average. The one and only area the SAKIN goes from being average to actually shining in is at long-range gunfights. The SAKIN gets the fastest kills at range on paper, so if you can find scenarios where you can get into gunfights over 60 meters and land your shots with its moderate amount of recoil, then this is going to be the LMG to use. However, most people aren't going to be doing that and will be better off with something else. The SAKIN also suffers from not having any smaller magazine options like the RAPP. Granted, the SAKIN has the largest default mag of 100 rounds, but once all of that ammunition is gone, you're going to be a sitting duck while you reload. So again, like most LMGs, the SAKIN is pretty good. You can destroy people with it, but when we're looking for the best well-rounded options, the SAKIN MG38 boils down to being meh. A friendly reminder, please don't forget to click that like button on this video if you haven't yet, and consider subscribing to the channel. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and any support is appreciated. Coming in at number 4 is the HCR 556. Now, I've really struggled with placing this weapon. The HCR and the remaining LMGs are all good. The HCR can kill in as little as 3 shots, clocking in at 162 milliseconds. That's the fastest we've seen so far in this video. At the same time, it has the slowest long-range time to kill at 324 milliseconds. I wanted to give this specific example because this will come into play later on in the video, and also to show you that when comparing all these stats, it's little things like these that I'm considering that can set guns apart from one another. Outside of damage, the HCR's recoil is decent, its aim down sights is above average, and one of the best things is that it has a 60 round mag that reloads in 4 to 4.5 seconds. That's nearly twice as fast as a majority of the LMGs in this game. It also has a comb attachment slot that gives you more options to improve handling. I mean, it's a pretty good weapon. It could probably be built to compete with some assault rifles. I've juggled between having this at the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot, but ultimately decided 4th because the remaining 3 LMGs are more well-rounded or specialize in a certain playstyle. If you like the HCR, I recommend sticking around because there's an LMG that has identical stats and does exactly what the HCR does, but even better. The RAAL MG is going to move us into the top 3 best LMGs for this video. The RAAL is a 2 to 3 shot kill, clocking at a whopping 108 or 260 millisecond time to kill. To put this in perspective, 108 milliseconds is outgunning just about every non-one-shot weapon in the game, and the long-range 260 millisecond time to kill, well, that's outperforming some LMG's close-range profiles. The RAAL is a damage-dealing monster, but it's incredibly hard to use consistently well. The recoil isn't too bad, but it will randomly get these strong kicks that will throw you off target. Every shot you miss will increase TTK by over 100 milliseconds with the slow fire rate this weapon has. So if you can't land your shots, you might as well use something else. The RAAL is also as slow as a turtle. It's the slowest aim down sights for the LMGs, as the slowest reload for the LMGs, and it's the only LMG with a slower sprint to fire time. I haven't used every gun in the game yet, but I think the RAAL has the slowest handling and movement speeds in the game. Keep in mind you want to be as accurate as possible with this weapon, so you're likely going to be using recoil attachments that will harm these handling stats even more. If anything, you won't be improving ADS much because most attachments come with recoil penalties and they just aren't going to be worth it. These weapons with really high highs and really low lows are always challenging to rank. You know, on one hand, it's really potent. On the other hand, it's sluggish and limits your playstyle. I try to make these videos with the general player in mind. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but it definitely deserves some respect at the number 3 spot. The runner-up second best LMG goes to the RPK, which probably isn't much of a surprise. A lot of people like this weapon. For all intents and purposes, the RPK is the Gustav 762, but with slower handling. It shares that 3 to 4 shot kill clocking in at 200 or 300 milliseconds, which is great for assault rifles, but not as great when you need to compete with light machine guns. All the other LMGs have the potential to kill faster than the RPK if you can land your shots chest and up. That's within close range, so we're talking like 0 to 25 meters. But remember, there's more to weapons than damage. The RPK happens to have a pretty fast aim down sights. It also has very little recoil, and you're able to use things like the ADS barrel and other handling improvement attachments while keeping the RPK's laser accurate recoil. This isn't something you're able to do easily with the other LMGs or any weapon in the game at that. With that in mind, if I can aim down sight faster and get my shot off against another LMG user first, that 20 to 50 millisecond faster time to kill difference that the other LMGs have doesn't really come into play. The RPK can also retain its 3-shot kill up to 60 meters if you hit chest and up. Most LMGs are dealing their minimal damage at that range, so yes, the RPK is fantastic once you get to mid to long range engagements. One last thing the RPK has going for it is a fast reload. It's not as fast as the HCR, but it's significantly faster than the rest, and it does have smaller magazine options to improve those speeds even more. You can speed it up towards assault rifle speeds while keeping it easy to handle, which is something truly unique for a light machine gun. I found the RPK to be the most reliable option that everyone can use and actually be competitive with. That's why it's at number 2. That brings us to the best light machine gun in the game, which is the 5.56 Icarus, which may be a surprise because some people may have just written this weapon off like I did at first. The Icarus maintains a faster time to kill at all ranges. It actually outguns every LMG except the RAAL within close range. It has the fastest aim down sight in class at 370 milliseconds. This is significantly faster than every other LMG. It also has fairly low recoil. Even when you build the Icarus for speed, it can still beam enemies across the map. So you can get this thing to handle and move more like an AR, and it can outgun most LMGs as well as assault rifles at all ranges. I was truly surprised how well this weapon performed once I started equipping proper attachments on it and directly tested it alongside its competition. Speaking of which, this is that LMG that I mentioned was similar to the HCR, but just better because all of its stats are better. The 5.56 Icarus is well-rounded and viable as hell, and it feels good to say that because the other M4 platform weapons I've used have been subpar so far. It's good to see the platform shine in one area. If you haven't used the 5.56 Icarus, I definitely recommend you try it in your next play session. It is well deserving of its number 1 spot. As always, you're encouraged to comment your own worst to best list or any of your thoughts you may have on my list. Please don't forget to click like on this video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.